Now you're cooking with Ares. I thought the expression was now you're cooking with gas. Isn't Ares the god of war? I'm kind of afraid if I'm cooking with Ares, that means we're going to get destruction and hellfire everywhere. Anyways, aside from that, it's getting a little chilly today, despite the fact that we get some warmth coming in mid-October. But the chilliness means it's the perfect time to get some soup started. So we're going to be revisiting some barley soup today on the Wandering Yuki Cheese Cafe, so stay tuned. Welcome to another edition of the Wandering Yuki Cheese Cafe. We're at a really weird time of the year right now, like Ed said earlier. It's mid-October. Even though it's starting to get a bit chilly, you kind of get traces of a bit of warmth, it's a bit more sunshine, and it's also starting to get dark. So I know I'm not going to have much time to be brewing myself outdoors, or even fire up this son of a bitch in the back. So I'm going to take advantage as much as possible. But it doesn't mean that I can't enjoy it still while it's a bit chilly. I just have to wear a sweater instead of my usual t-shirt and tank top. Well, as a matter of fact, I have here my pint glass, and I was trying to think, what could I drink today that is fitting for the mood? If you have early nights, then I guess you could start saying, open the night. Yeah, this is kind of where I would think someone should lay a beat when I say that. Except my freestyling skills are kind of minimal, and they leave much to be desired for, so I'm not even going to try to be a rapper. What I will say is I have a nighttime IPA. I'm sure you've seen these cover art pieces in the past. This is the Archibald brewer that comes up with these cute little ladies that are on the cans, and you have the white IPA, you have the West Coast IPA, you have the Blanche that's called, well, I forget the name of the Blanche. The only one I really remember is the light blonde that's called Ma Tante. I drank Ma Tante countless times, and I loved it a lot. But to turn on the night, or open the night, went for the Nuit Blanche White IPA. I haven't had this one in a long time, and I think I'm overdue for it. Nuit Blanche. I wonder if it's supposed to be based on the Nuit Blanche celebration you get it around Montreal. Everything going open at nighttime, so many lights, so much head. Not that that's something people complain about much. Whatever the case, I don't know what it's named after, but I like it. And I probably recounted this story before, but Archibald I've had a few times, but the main reference I have for this would be the Montreal airport before I flew off to Italy. Because the Archibald has a brewer over there, like a little bar resto, and that was where I had my last few pints in Montreal before flying off to Italy. So that's kind of nice. I could probably give this thing a taste, despite the fact that I'm probably just going to be drinking foam. Stupid foam. I guess it's better than nothing at all. Pretty good. You get the hops of the IPA, but you also get the orange that you find with the wheat, and especially with the blanche. So it's kind of a mix of two worlds. In fact, it makes me think it's kind of similar to a New England IPA with how citrusy it can be. Good stuff. Perfect to enjoy some brew before I get to the main course. And hopefully I actually get some beer in here. Come on. I gotta get my voodoo in place. Alakazam? Okay, I'll admit, a funny thing had happened along the way when I was doing this vlog. I was starting to get in the mood to do some cooking yesterday, and then next thing you know, a bit of fatigue, a bit of want to just lay down, enjoy myself, and just relax and not do anything had sprung up on me. So I thought, you know what? I can take care of my soup another day. And it's day 2. I'm looking a little bit more snazzy right now, which is going to be a weird change because I'm so used to having band t-shirts on. It's once in a while needed to do this. Plus I was in the office for the first time in a while. This can happen. Anyways, first thing you're going to need to do is prepare some vegetables before you do your soup. So what I have right now is I got my jar of garlic that I'm going to be using for myself. I'm going to be probably doing a good 4 cloves in here, improvising as usual. And I'm probably going to need also 1 onion. The onion is a key thing here, but you want to make sure that it's cut really well, nice and thin, and kind of chopped finely. Because the first step to do a soup properly is actually to put it into your pot with some oil as opposed to just cooking everything at once, because you get a better flavor. So let's get started on that. Once you got your giant stock pot here, you just need to put 1 tablespoon of olive oil to begin with, and then you let it heat up on medium heat until it's warm enough. And then after that, you can add your onion, and you can even add your garlic after that too. And that, well, we'll get to that when we get to that step. Oil looks like it's heating up pretty well. Not too hot. Let's get this in. Got onions and garlic all together. That's right, the sizzle tells me this is gonna go well. So you add everything in, take a big spoon, and then you just saute it. This you do not want to have overcooked. With onion and garlic, you just need to make them a bit translucent. Maybe in the onion's case, slightly brown. And then that's when you can start adding your other ingredients. Onions looking good. Garlic is looking pretty nice too. And your next ingredient is going to be another seasoning that you can partake in. So this is going to be 1 teaspoon of turmeric. If you're doing a clear broth, this teaspoon of turmeric would give it like a nice yellowish hint that you find in a lot of soups in the stores. Throw that in. And then you just want to coat the onion with the seasoning so it all becomes a bit yellowish. And then after that, on to the next step. Alright, looking pretty good so far. Now, I'm going to be adding a bit more barley than I did the last recipe I had done. There's another variation I found that probably requires a little bit more liquid. This is basically an improvised soup. I want to see if this actually turns out well. Last time I think I used either 1/4 cup or 1/2 cup of barley, but in this case I'm going to be doing 3/4 of a cup. Here we go. 3/4 cup, adding that in. Then I'm just going to stir it around quickly to make sure it's coated up in the onion and turmeric. And I did have another idea too. I realized I could also add lentils into this thing. How much would you think? Well, I got two words for you. Fuck it. I've had this in my pantry for so long, I don't want to look at it anymore. So I'm gonna just throw whatever's in here. I'm sure it's still gonna be tasty. Okay. Stir that in too. Now we get to the broth. Alright, I'm gonna be using some chicken broth. And once again, two things you can always remember for this. One, you don't have to go too fancy with your broth. You can use a store brand and it's still gonna be tasty. Because no one's gonna tell store brand from, let's say, Campbell's. Doesn't matter. And then two, try to get the low sodium one that's in the stores. Because it actually makes a big difference with how much, 1,000 milligrams of sodium. I didn't see that coming. And this is reduced salt too, so I'm kind of dreading how much the regular one has. I'm probably gonna do like close to 6 cups of this stuff. And in case you're wondering why I'm using this instead of my other measuring cup, well, when I was making some pickled turnips, the handle had broken off, so I kind of ran out of luck with that one. So that's, I guess I'm up shit's creek, as the expression goes. Okay, what I meant to say about the low sodium stuff is that when you look at a lot of the soups that you could get in the soup aisle, like the condensed soup, the instant soups, the problem is that there's so much salt in there that it almost feels like it's a lethal dose. And you don't really need that much salt for flavor either. You just gotta put the right seasoning, like pepper, or right vegetables. Five and 6. There. So that should get the job done. Okay, another bit of improvisation here. I got some crushed tomatoes from when I made my jambalaya. It's been in the fridge for about 2 weeks, and there's no mold in there, so I'm okay with it. But I don't want it to go bad, so I'm making a judgment call. We are gonna add this in too, and make it like a tomatoey broth, like you get with minestrone soup. This is gonna be great. Hopefully not a disaster. Alright, this thing was starting to get to a little bit of a simmer now, so I have it on medium-high heat, put a lid on it, and I set the timer for 45 minutes. You're probably not going to need to cook it for that long, but you really want to make sure that your barley is well absorbed, it's well absorbing the water, and that it's soft. You don't want to have it completely hardened up. Then, probably once I get to the last 15 minutes or last maybe 10 minutes or so, I'm going to add some kidney beans into there for a bit more robustness. You probably would have noticed if you remember my previous videos, there are some missing ingredients. That's because I forgot to plan some stuff properly. If you want to make this a little bit more filling, you could add like maybe, let's say 3 carrots and 2 stalks of celery, chopped up into smaller pieces, and then just cook that until it's softened before you put your barley in. Obviously, because I didn't plan it that way, it's not going to happen. But needless to say, this is going to be a pretty tasty soup anyways. Definitely looking forward to it. I'm slowly approaching 15 minutes until the soup is done. That's as good as I'm gonna need. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna add my beans. So I took 1 can of red kidney beans, drained it, rinsed them out, and I'm gonna add this into the mixture, stir it in and let it cook for the next 15 minutes or so. So the good thing is that these are already pre-cooked, so you just have to let them warm up and absorb more of the broth to go along with the rest of the barley, and you're good to go. You're better off doing it this way than can. Most of the time you just get it on a special, you're gonna get it for about 99 cents. It's better than getting the bags of dry beans, because the problem with that is if you wanted to cook with it, you do have to let them soak overnight before they're able to be used up. And that takes a lot of time, a lot more hours, and if you really want to make a soup quicker, that just adds to it, so best not to do it. Speaking of time, actually, hang on, I got a flash of brilliance here. I think thyme is one of those ingredients I can even put in if I wanted to. Alright, let's just put a little bit of thyme. the equivalent of 1 teaspoon in, stirring it up, and then let it cook for the remaining 14 minutes. I feel like I need to get a drink. But luckily it's Monday. I'm not going to be having a brew. I've already had my brew yesterday. I'm going to be going for something sparkling. Water, that is. Yeah, probably not a good idea to keep it going. I noticed it was really starting to bubble a lot, like boiling point. And I think something was burning on the bottom of the pot. So I think I'm good with that. Time to turn off the timer. So it's time for me to just let this sit. I'm going to make another side for my meal, and then we'll be right back for the taste test. I'm sure it's going to be good. This is all basic stuff I've done before. You won't see me get poisoned live on camera. There we are, everyone. 1 improvised bean and barley soup for today. Now, just to make sure I have a bit of extra flavor in this thing, I did squeeze a little bit of pepper into this. And now I'm going to give it a quick taste test. You'll know it's done properly if your barley is a lot softer than it was out of the package. If it's still too crunchy and hard, then you did it all wrong. But of course, if it's been in there for 40 minutes and it's still too hard, you got bigger problems with your stove. Now this is delicious. And I remember the last time I did this soup with the tomato broth, I used diced tomatoes instead of crushed tomatoes. And I think that's actually the main difference. So if you use diced tomatoes, you're going to be left with a few chunks of tomatoes in here. This blends in well, so it gives it more of a tomatoey little broth. Now, in case you didn't think there was enough cheese in this episode, I'm going to make up for in quantities right now for my side dish. This is what I got. I got me 1 cheese sandwich with a bit of sopressata salami, and it's made on an Italian bread with some baked cheese on there with a bit of mayonnaise. So everyone, if you think you don't have enough cheese, this more than makes up for it. Now, gotta love the precious, cheesy, salty pig. It's a beautiful thing. And you know, I'm actually glad I waited to make this soup for today, because it's actually a colder day than it was yesterday when I wanted to do it originally. This is perfect. It's a bit more hearty, soulful, once it gets kind of cold. Well everyone, thanks for watching another edition of the Wandernicky Cheese Cafe. So if you like what you see, you got that subscribe button below that you can hit. Give this video a thumbs up, because it'll help promote the video down the road. Hopefully and make some money. And, of course, keep spreading the cheese and the bad jokes everywhere. Peace everyone. I'm going to enjoy my cheese.